name is Amy. Welcome back to my channel. I'm having that problem again where it doesn't look like my voice is matching my lips. I don't know. Yeah, so this is a channel about cross stitch. Welcome back. Several days late. Actually, I'm a week late on this video, and that's because I was just enjoying my stitching time so much that I didn't want to stop. So I'm going to show you the progress that I've made. Let me move this because I feel like that might be affecting the sound. Hopefully the sound is fine. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. If you're new here, ignore that I am missing my closet doors. I got into a fight with them when I moved into this house at the beginning of the year, and I took them off. I've since figured out how to fix them, which I think I might, because now that I figured out how to fix them, because I did it in my kids' room yesterday, I think I can put them back because my cats go in there and I absolutely hate that. So I'm gonna have to move that fan though, but that should be fine because now that if I take the doors out of the shed, I have room for that. Anyway, none of that even matters. I feel like you're too high. Is that better? I don't know. We'll see. You're moving. No. Okay. So yeah, I just was enjoying my stitching time so much last week that I didn't want to stop and take the time away from that to film. So I didn't, unfortunately. So here we are today. A couple of days ago I actually filmed like the haul part, and then I was like, I don't like the way this turned out, plus it ended up being like 18 minutes, and decided not to film it or keep it, so I deleted it, and I'm gonna add it, and I'm just gonna do it again in this part. So yeah, today is December 21st. It's my daughter's birthday. They are just in there playing games right now, and we're gonna go out to eat. She chose Olive Garden to go out to eat, so we're gonna do that in a little bit. Yeah, so let's see. I want to do a giveaway. I forgot to take all of the stuff out. So I'm gonna do a very large collection of cross stitch stuff. There's gonna be some 30 count linen in there, some 14 count Aida, which is a good size piece. The 30 count linen is some smaller pieces. I don't have any here. I have 3 parts of the Tingles pattern from Lizzie Kate in there. I have there's a Prairie Schooler Halloween pattern in there. I'm trying to think. There is what is it called? Like Esmeralda's something Halloween pattern, Esmeralda's Brew, I think it's called, in there as well. Sorry, I had a phone call. So I'm just going to compile it into one large giveaway of things. There's a good deal of fabric in there. I do know that. If I have time, I'll put a picture here of what it all looks like, and then you guys can comment down below what your favorite fabric type is, because I know this is going to be a mix. It's going to be, from the top of my head, I know there's some Aida and some linen in there. That's off the top of my head. So just tell me what your favorite fabric type is, and the keyword for that is going to be fabric. I want to give it all away at once because I was saving it like bits and pieces, and just found that it was just too much to do because I kept getting more stuff to give away, and it was just too much. So yeah, let's move on to whips. I only have 2 whips to show you guys. So right after my video 2 weeks ago, I started working on this Pix Cell 2021. So this cell obviously is going on 2 years old since the start of the cell, because this came out like 1 piece a month for the whole year of 2021, if I'm not mistaken, and then it was done. So I started it, I don't think immediately, maybe like halfway through I started on the frame. And so I started up here just doing the blocks, and then I worked on it once, did the outline, and then I did not work on it anymore for no reason whatsoever. So this is from Pixel Prime cross stitch, and it's on a blog. It's free, and it's called pixelprimecrossstitch.blogspot.com. But if you just put Pixel 2021 into Google, it should come up within one of the first couple of listings. And I think I have a picture of where this was when I started it. I'll put that here if I do. If not, I'll explain. So all I had was the black outline previously. So when I pulled this out last week, I think in 2 sittings, I don't know how long, I filled in all of the blocks, except for some reason I didn't do, why didn't I get that? I'm not sure. I didn't do these 2 blocks for whatever reason. I think my arm was hurting from stretching to this side of the Lowry, because I keep my Lowry on this side, which is where my elbow rests on my left hand. So this is my left side when I'm stitching, and I was getting tired of reaching over here. And so I changed the colors to work with what I had. So there's 2 shades of orange in here. There is, what is it, a red? No, there's 2 shades of orange. There is a pink, and I'm trying to just figure out what that color is. So did I do 3 shades of orange? What's on the other side of that blue? Orange and pink. So then what is that color gonna be? I'm doing 2 pinks. I might need another color because there should be 2 shades of orange. Anyway, I substituted almost all the colors. I think I'm missing a color here because I do have the 2 shades of orange and the pink. Because see, look at how the colors are on here, and then look at them on here. This color doesn't look like that color. This color is a very bright pink, and on here it looks purple, right? And then the orange, there's an orange, and then this looks like red to me. In person, it looks red, like on here, but it's not. If you look at the chart, it's actually 2 different shades of orange. And then there's a yellow, there's 2 different greens. Now, my only thing is, I think when I was stitching the greens, they looked too similar. And on here, they look very similar. Like there's not as much contrast between them as I'd like them to be. I don't think I'm going to unpick them. See, and you can see the difference very clearly here. Like you can tell this is the darker one and this is the lighter one. But when they're stitched, they don't show that much of a difference. And so what I think I'm going to do is trade this one for a darker, like a true green, because this is not suiting my eyes right here. I might unpick it and restitch because it's only 6 blocks and it's only just here. So I honestly don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I am not that much of a nitpicker when it comes to this, but I know a lot of people would immediately unstitch that and do something with it. I'm not that bad. I don't think it's going to look terrible, but we'll see when I get there what it's going to look like. So yeah, that's what I did. I filled it in, and the page stops right here, which is why like the lines stop halfway, because that's where the page ends. And so I had these threads already out, and so because I know how many lines each block has, each block is the same, I went ahead and stitched these even though they're not like finished on that page. So I have almost a full page finish. I ran out of the black, so I'm missing 1 block here, but I will do that before I move on. And then I honestly think I'm going to do the whole frame first before I stitch in the insides, because I'm like, well, it's already on my Q-snap this way. I might as well stitch what of the pattern I have that's going to fit in these blocks. But then I'm like, I don't know. I haven't fully decided yet, because it's not the whole. I'll be stitching in like partial pages for this because it's only part of it here, and it continues a little more. And the same for this. I mean, it wouldn't be too bad to do that, as I wouldn't get bored of stitching this, but I actually am really digging stitching this frame for some reason. I'm really liking it. I am stitching this on 32 count Silvery Moon Lugana, and this is actually the other half of the Lugana that I chose to do my shuttling on. So it looks like kind of white Lugana, but it's not. It's Silvery Moon, which is like a very subtle gray color, and that's what my chatelaine, I ordered a whole yard, so half of it's for my chatelaine, and then I just had this piece and I decided to start it on this piece. So I'm doing it 2/2, so essentially it's like a 16 count piece. So yeah, there's that. Again, I substituted some of the colors because I didn't have them, and I just went with what I had. It looks like I had most of them except for a pink and an orange, and I changed them, and the 2 oranges I chose fit perfect for this pattern. But the, you know, I didn't want to buy more. There was no need for it. So yeah, that's where I got to on that. And let's see, let me put, this pattern is massive, by the way. I had to put it in 2 sheets, and this is the completed version, and you have to go through and download like every month. So it has like some Super Mario on here. Actually, no, this is like the original Mario, some Metroid, Pac-Man, Kirby, I can't remember that, Burger Time. What else? Some Final Fantasy, and I can't remember. Oh, Q*bert. Yeah, Duck Hunt. So yeah, just a little bit of everything on this for the old school gamers. I mean, I'm not that old, but I remember I grew up poor, so we still had a lot of the old school games. You know, because we couldn't afford the new ones. So there's that. On to the next. So this one, I don't know if I have a picture of where I started. I think I do. I'll put it here. Well, in a bit I will. I decided to pull this out. So this is Joan Elliott's Winter Geisha. I originally purchased this a while back to do the Sal, which was #Stitch Asia, which was stitch on things that represent Asian culture, and I found this. However, I since had changed, like I still kind of included this when I started it, but then I stopped and decided to do a pattern from Cottage Garden Samplings because, well, this represents Asian culture. It is a representation done by a white woman, and Cottage Garden Samplings, the owner is actually Asian, and so I decided to stitch her patterns for the #Stitch Asia thing that was going around a while back. I think this was like in 2021, and so I did that. I didn't finish that pattern, but I'm so close to a finish, and the past 2 days I've actually been like really wanting to pull it out, so I think I'm going to do that. But this, yeah, that's the background for this. But I absolutely love Joan Elliott's work. I have several Joan Elliott ladies. I think I talked about my iron, I don't know if it's called Iron Maiden, I can't remember, her Indian Maiden, in my last video, I think. I have this one, and then I have like a fairy petite one that Amy Sprinklestein gifted me a while back as well. I just love Joan Elliott. Oh, and then I have a wizard. I'm working on a wizard from her too. I love her style. So when I pulled out the pattern, I only had, you see this purple bit here of her sleeve? That was all I had. And a little, like a couple strands of the green here were filled in. That was all I had, just this teeny tiny part. There's a good deal of back stitch in the whole thing that I have not done yet because I'm waiting to finish the entirety of the page of where I'm at, and then I think I'm going to go in and put the back stitch in for the page so that I don't have to come back and do like the whole chart back stitch. So if I took the picture, I'll put it here so you guys can see, but that's just what I was thinking for back stitch because I don't want to go back and do the whole page back stitch. And this is where I'm at now. this is like what got me hung up last week. I can't remember what I was saying because my daughter interrupted. Anyway, this is the page. So that's why there's like these harsh lines, because that's where the page ends. And it took me a while to honestly figure out like where I was at in the, like I knew where I was at in the pattern, but it was hard to see what was going on because it was just this part right here. Okay, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. I apologize. My daughter's walked in here like 5 times. It took me a while to like see the picture coming together because it was just such an odd placement of stitches. Like with this purple sleeve here, I had part of this done and a few of these green strands coming down. So I filled in the rest of this, and then I started coming over here, and then all of a sudden it was like these straight lines down, and I'm like, what the hell am I freaking stitching? And I just couldn't picture it in my head. And then I had this blank, so I was like, let me put these stitches in so I can see what I'm doing. And then that's when it came together for me, was once I put these stitches in. What I would have liked though is if this stick, they would have carried it through to this side. It just feel like it disappears in the dress, which seems kind of odd because she has it here, unless it's just not that long, but it would have looked neat if it would have came back on the end, I think. So that's where I've gotten. This is what I was so hung up on last week that I just couldn't be bothered to film a Flosstube. And I'm honestly like, I am just loving stitching it. I don't know if it's because of all the blues, but blues and the dark greens are like some of my favorite colors to stitch with, the DMC. Something about the dye lots that makes them a very smooth stitch compared to like stitching white. I find lighter colors very hard to stitch with. They come out so ugly. I have to railroad every single stitch, for me personally anyway. But yeah, this is what it looks like, and I am just obsessed with it so far. I don't know how big it's going to be, but the pattern is 9 pages, and that is 1 page. So I've reached 3 corners on that 1 page, and it's 3, 6, 9. So that goes to show you she's going to be a big girl, which is perfectly fine. I'm fine with that because I'm loving this stitch. I am stitching this on, has to be Empty Stitch Me because that's what I stitch everything on. April Showers in 32 count Lugana, and I'm doing it 2/2. So essentially a 16 count. I have that she's going to be about 10 by 14 inches. So that's a good size, I think. Yeah. And I think this was there's a pen mark on there. Is that in the back? Yeah, it's in the back. I'm pretty sure this was a fabric of the month one as well. Most of my fabrics from Brandy are fabrics of the month. So that's where I am on that. And yeah, right now she's still sitting heavy on my mind, but so are a couple of other pieces that I just can't. I get to that where I'm like overwhelmed by what I'm stitching, and then end up stitching on a bunch of projects that I just don't feel like stitching on because I can't make up my mind about what I want to stitch. So that was it. That was all I got done. I did end up kitting up the Nightmare Before Christmas one, the Jack Mandy Manzano one, and then I reorganized these to make more sense. So like everything down here is all full coverage, fully kitted things, and then like the next shelf up is also fully kitted, and it just makes more sense to me that way. And then like I consolidated all of my fabric bins, so this one's actually empty, just so that I could have more space and put more things in here, so I don't have things everywhere. So I actually have 2 empty bins now because I consolidated a lot of things. Not that that has anything to do with this on haul. So I love temperature stuff. I did the temperature tree by Stitch and Mommy and absolutely loved it. I had this wild idea in my head that I was going to do a temperature tree every year. That didn't happen. I feel like you're just too high. That didn't happen. And it's fine. So I just haven't done one. I did one for 2021, but I did not do one for 2022. And now we're coming into 2023. So I found this on Etsy. It just came up one day. It's by Grandma B. Wilden on Etsy. And it's a temperature bookshelf. I absolutely love it. The frame is probably going to annoy the crap out of me. But I love it. It's called the Goth Temperature Stitch Along. I guess they did a stitch along with it. I don't know. The chart didn't amuse me at first because the colors weren't temperature-y, I guess. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, well, it doesn't really matter because it's going to be, they're supposed to be books. So then it made more sense. I just think I'm going to pull the colors first and see the variety in the tones. And I just feel like these are just too close together to even show the difference. So I might actually skip a few shades to really show the difference between them. So I got that whenever I decide to do it. I don't know. I have half a mind to start stitching the frame right now, but then I don't know. Sorry. I'll fix that in a second. Then I don't know. We'll see. Then when I purchased that, I also decided to go back, and it's a big pattern, so the package is the sheet protector is kind of wrinkled. I went and bought the tarot cell, so which is Garden Crafts. They came out with this, I think, at the beginning of the year. Absolutely loved it. If this isn't your thing, you can skip forward. A few, actually, you might want to skip the next pattern after that too, if you're a little bit more conservative, and go to the last pattern. But yeah, I absolutely love it. It's not the full face cards of the tarot, which is fine, but it looks like this, and I'm trying to make sure you guys can see it. I just absolutely love it. It's got like some of the most commonly referred to cards. There's two different frame versions. There's this one called the Ornate, and then I can't remember what the other one's called, but I liked this one better, even though I think I'm going to get tired of stitching it. But that's okay because it's not so large that I can't do like a couple of these and then come do some of these, and then a couple of these and do some of these, because there's more in the middle of the pattern than anything. This is almost full coverage. There is a row of fabric in between each card, and I think it's gonna look nice. I have to find something that this is gonna fit on nicely. It's not kitted or anything like that. I don't plan on putting it together, but I say that, and then next thing I know, in the next video, I've started a whole row and I'm done. I always say I'm not gonna do something. Like 2 videos ago, I said I'm done buying, not buying anything, la la la, and then here I am buying stuff still. I ended up finding out that Michael's has a 15% off teaching discount. So every time I go to Michael's, I get 15% off. And then the last time I went, they gave me a coupon for 20% off. And I'm wondering if I can combine them. And if I can, then I'm going to kit something up. Because why not? So this next one, again, if you're super conservative, please just skip this. This is from Unconventional Cross Stitch or X Stitch, and if you're familiar with Unconventional X Stitch, then you know that some of her charts are, well, unconventional and aren't appropriate for everybody. And as soon as I saw this, I had to get it. What caught me first was the title. It's called Where the Sea Touched, and I've mentioned this recently, is that I've been really aware of the size of charts that I purchase. This one I did not even consider the size. I saw it and I literally purchased it immediately. I was like, nope, not even gonna think about the size of this one. It's got a ton of color blocking, and so I know I'm gonna love stitching it, but it's gonna be big, especially since I've kind of been wanting to stitch on 18 count Aida. 20 count Aida gets a little iffy. The stitches kind of start squeezing together and they can look messy for me, which is weird because I see, what is her name? Stitchery Lovers does a lot of her full coverage on 25 count 2/1 full cross. And I'm like, how do these people make it work on 25 count when I can't even do it on a 20 count? Ugh. It's ridiculous. So I have half a mind to do this on 25 count tent, but then I don't, because I'm not that fond of tent as it was when I first started it. I just realized it's just not a nice feel, even though it's half the work. I'm thinking possibly of doing it on 18 count Ada, but it's going to be massive if I do that, because on 28 count it's already 16 and a half by 25. If I do it on 25 count, it's 19 by 28. So can you imagine on an 18 count 8, it's going to be even bigger than that. Like minimum 20 inches on the short side. So anyway, I just show you the picture. Where the sea touched. I just love everything about it. I love the wings up here. And again, I'm amazed at how much detail is in the image, considering all of the color blocking that's in here. And as far as I think I tried it already to see if it fit in Pattern Keeper. I might be mistaken. Which pattern did I pull into Pattern Keeper last night? Oh no, that was the Jack one. I haven't tried pulling this into Pattern Keeper yet, but I will. Right here I just have the chart and the floss list, and I counted these before. It needs like over 100 skeins of floss. I need 20 skeins just of 310. And I need another 10 skeins of 168. Yeah. And this is for if I do 28 count tent or 1/1. So if I do 18 count, I'm going to need even more. I'm thinking of just pulling, like grabbing the colors of wherever I'm going to start in the chart. Usually I start here. So if I start here, I'll look at the first page and just grab whatever colors these are going to be, enough to get me through to that page, and then just do that little bits at a time. My Michael's coupon runs out on the 31st, which is only another 10 days. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see where the sea touched. Last one. This is a freebie, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting for her to come out with this. I accidentally printed it in black and white, but I think I can see the symbols well enough. But I think I can see them well enough to do it. This is from Sarcy Girl Designs. This is called Grimm's Garden, and it is a freebie from Sarcy Girl. So if you follow her on Instagram, she had been working on this for a while, like a good while, and it just kept like getting more and more and more, and I was like, oh my god, I freaking love that. Like, I can't wait till she comes out with it. And I was ready to purchase it, and she released it as a freebie, so I was even more stoked that she did that. Me personally, I don't care for the moth, or it's a moth, the moth. I don't like the moth. I might change it. I don't know, I feel like the color is too stark of a contrast to do it, so maybe I'll do a gray toned moth instead, or fancy floss moth. And these I also might make a slightly darker. I feel like they're not, I don't know, but I love the pattern nonetheless, and it's free. You can go to her Instagram, Sarcy Girl, and click on the link tree, and it's there. She's got several other free patterns. She also came out with this ginormous pandemic one that I loved, and then decided to take it out of my stash because I just didn't want it. It's a nice pattern though. I hope you can hear me. My son's blow drying his hair. My daughters are brushing their teeth, and it's loud. So that's all my haul. After I said I wasn't going to add any more things, I still added 4 charts to my stash. It is what it is. So, I'm getting ready to take my daughter out to eat for her birthday, and I will catch you guys in the next one.